Namaste. Welcome back to Harmonic Convergence. In Chapter 1, we face something primal. Fear. The kind that lives in the body. The kind that shapes societies. We explored how fear shows up in our thoughts, our stories, and the systems we live in. But all things, even fear, exist within a larger rhythm. And that rhythm is change. Change is the second chapter in this series because it's the current running through everything, from galaxies to grass blades. In this chapter, we'll explore what it means to live in harmony with that current, what it means to truly accept that change is constant. Cycles, patterns, endings, and rebirths, they're not detours. They're the path itself. How we move through cycles and repeat lessons until we finally learn them. The earth never stops spinning. A wave never freezes mid-crest. Even when we stand perfectly still, change is happening within us and all around us. Cells renew. Thoughts evolve. Light dances across the sky until it disappears, only to reappear at sunrise. Change isn't something that happens to us. It's something we're made of. But the rhythm of the cosmos doesn't follow a straight line. It moves in spirals, one of the many sacred patterns woven into nature. And that's the secret of change. It's not linear. It's cyclical. A bird may return to the same branch. A heart may revisit the same ache, but each time, there's a little more awareness than before. And that's because we're not ever in the same place. We're constantly spiraling upward. If we want to live in harmony with change, we have to let go of the myth that progress only moves forward. Our culture teaches us to strive to get better, to keep moving. But real transformation, healing, creativity, and awakening isn't a straight climb. It's more like a spiral staircase. You find yourself experiencing a familiar emotion, hesitation, longing, anxiety. Only this time, you gaze at the challenge with new eyes. Neuroscience backs this up. It's called reconsolidation theory, and it shows that when we recall a memory, we don't simply replay it, we reshape it. With every revisit, we're editing the memory, deepening and reinterpreting its meaning, and then integrating it into our being. So when we revisit the past, it's not a regression. It's an upgrade in disguise. And when we step back far enough, we can see that this pattern, this spiral, isn't isolated. It belongs to a much bigger, much grander design. Before we focus on the spiral itself, let's zoom out a little bit. Sacred geometry isn't just about beautiful shapes and mystical symbols. It's a blueprint of creation, a way to understand how energy moves, manifests, and transforms. In this context, change is not seen as something separate from these patterns. It is the pattern in motion. It's the dynamic unfolding of form and formlessness. From the flower of life to the seed of life. These patterns represent stages of creation that are always evolving. Sacred geometry emphasizes interconnectedness, that everything from atoms to galaxies is part of one unified system. Within that system, change flows like breath, expansion and contraction, life and death, decay and renewal. It's not random, it's rhythmic. Look at the torus, a sacred geometric form that represents energy circulating in a continual loop. This is the architecture of change. It's cyclical, fluid, and alive. These forms also exist in nature, the way a crystal grows and branches sprawl from a tree. These aren't coincidences. They're reflections of a deeper harmony, one that constantly transforms while staying rooted in unity. So when we speak of change, we're not talking about disorder. We're talking about sacred movement, living geometry. The spiral isn't just emotional or metaphorical. It's embedded in nature, into pine cones, galaxies, and our DNA. All of them move in spirals, a pattern described by the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. In sacred geometry, the spiral is the most ancient and universal symbol of growth and evolution. It reminds us that change doesn't mean abandoning where we came from, but instead returning again with greater insight. This pattern is a map of transformation, the sacred path of evolution, as brilliantly explained on Pardesco.com. Check it out if you're into sacred geometry. So, if nature evolves through spirals, why wouldn't we? So often we think, not this again. But what if this again is sacred? We revisit wounds, relationships, and patterns not because we failed to learn something, but because we're ready to integrate it more fully. The universe doesn't give pop quizzes. It gives invitations. Contrast, as Abraham Hicks says, is how we refine our desires. Repeating an old experience with more awareness means you're no longer in survival mode. You're in a refinement phase. So next time an old feeling surfaces, instead of saying, "Why now?" try asking, "Why here?" And "What am I about to learn?" Because when you do that, you spiral up. Our biology already reflects this truth. Most of the cells in our body are in a state of constant renewal. Your skin regenerates every few weeks. Red blood cells every few months. Even bones and liver tissue refresh over time. While most neurons in the brain stay with us for life, the connections between them are continually rewiring, a process known as neuroplasticity. So when we say you're not the same person as you were last year, that's not just poetic, it's biological. Change lives in your cells. Zooming out reveals what we can't see from the ground floor. From below, a spiral staircase just looks like loops. But step back and you see the ascent. The repetition isn't pointless, it's purposeful. Each revisit is an opportunity to respond differently, to heal deeper, to love more. Now this is where neuroscience and spirituality meet. Neuroplasticity tells us that we can change. Carlos Schatz put it simply, neurons that fire together, wire together. The more consciously you spiral, the more you rewire. So how do we move through these spirals intentionally? Well, number one, pattern awareness practice. Ask, what keeps showing up for me lately? What's different about how I feel or respond now? Number two, visualize the spiral. Close your eyes. Imagine walking a golden spiral. Feel each step lifting you higher in insight and peace. And number three, sacred pause. Before reacting to a familiar trigger, pause and ask, what is this moment showing me now that it couldn't before? Change doesn't ask us to move fast. It asks us to move with awareness. This is the rhythm of change. It's not a straight path, it's a spiral. So today, let this be your mantra. I trust the spiral. I meet familiar emotions with new eyes. I honor my growth. And as Heraclitus reminds us, you do not step into the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and you are not the same person. Recently, I visited the redwoods in Northern California, and something about being in their presence reminded me that they've been here long before me and they'll be here long after me. That sense of time and scale made me feel small, but in the best possible way, like a single thread in a vast, intelligent tapestry. Those ancient, towering beauties reminded me that no matter what's changing, we are all part of something greater. Nothing is truly separate. It inspired me to write a song called One with the Universe, which is about that feeling of connection, not just to the moment, but to the cosmos. Nature has a way of demonstrating what rhythm and change is about. So in the next episode, I'm going to share the music video I shot for One with the Universe up in the redwoods. And I hope it gives you the same sense of peace, wonder, and connectedness that it gave me. Thank you so much for sticking with me to the end. If any of this resonated with you, send it to someone who might be in a loop and let them know they're really in a spiral. And drop a comment. What pattern are you seeing with new eyes? Remember, the cosmos are moving through you at all times. We're all made of stars. Until next time, namaste.